Good morning. Good morning. Hey, it's Monday. It's the start of a new week. Let me clear my throat. Yes. Yes. Good morning. Look at you all. Beautiful people. Hi, Sashi. I'm glad you're here. Yes. I know. Your virgin ears. This awful language and this beautiful song. Why am I streaming at this time? It's morning. Why, it's almost 6 a.m. It's time to get up and begin your week, everyone. Morning. It's the morning show. Yeah. A lot of people want more Captain Marvel news. You know what? Honestly, this Captain Marvel thing is going to go on all year long. It's going to be a never-ending source of just amusement, entertainment. Definitely a source of videos for me. I love this stuff. I absolutely love it. I love all of this SJW. First of all, anyone who looks at Brie Larson and takes a moment to encounter Brie Larson's face in that trailer. And by the way, not just in the trailer, but in every single piece of promotional footage, every little photograph that's offered, every movie poster, whatever it is that they're putting out, all the promo material. You look at Brie Larson's face, and it is a trial. It is a hard row to hoe, so to speak. Yeah, it is tough. It's tough. I don't know what to say. I don't want to have to talk about stuff like this all the time. I don't know why they keep doing this. SJWs constantly do this. They keep trying out their stuff on normal people. Normal people don't like it. They don't like it. Let me see how you guys are doing in the chat here. Sinister Smirk is here. Big week, getting my EVS in the evening fix. Well, yeah, it's morning here. I'm doing morning shows. I don't know what it was like all this weekend. You know what? You guys talk about being drunk on pie. Now I quit pie, but I took Ava. It was like 8 o'clock at night, and I said I'm taking Ava to get her some gluten-free cookies. Andrea wants to try gluten-free in the house, so gluten-free cookies. Took Ava out to Rastelli's. They had cream puffs. I got some cream puffs. I ate the cream puffs, and I'll tell you, I felt sluggish all weekend, and just wanted to sleep the whole time. I just wanted to, getting over the sickness, and then, eating half a dozen cream puffs. I went to sleep, and finally, when I woke up this morning, I stepped on the scale. And I am up 10 pounds. 10 pounds. Okay. Some of you have noticed it. You've said, look at your fat face. Look how fat you are. Here's the bad thing. I could barely fit into my Grumpy Bear pajamas. We were out shopping, and, there are these, first of all, those of you who don't know, I am working on a book called Rainbow Brute that will follow Cyberfrog Blood Honey. And, Grumpy Bear from the Care Bears figures into this story big time. Grumpy Bear, I'm going to do a weird new version of the Care Bears. Grumpy Bear is a badass. Like Grumpy Bear kicks ass in the in this book. He does. He totally kicks ass. And so we were out shopping, and there were for men. They're Grumpy Bear pajamas. I don't know why they're for men. I don't know why they're. I don't get it. I don't really understand. But listen, if they're Grumpy Bear pajamas, I'm going to get them. I'm gonna get them because they're he's in Rainbow Brute. So I at first when I put them on, they fit pretty good. There's a hood that has Grumpy Bear's face on it. Andrea said, "You're not gonna ever like. What would people say if they could see you wearing Grumpy Bear pajamas?" I said, "Well, nobody's gonna see that." Well, today I put them on, or last night I put them on for Ava, and it's like, yeah, they fit. I mean, they still fit, but uh, you know, the way they were tugging at a certain area of my anatomy, and exposing shapes and form. Andrea said that you cannot wear those. You cannot wear the Grumpy Bear pajamas, certainly not around the kids. And I said, well, that makes sense to me. So I took off the Grumpy Bear pajamas. That's when I got on the scale and said, oh my God, like, what have I done? So I woke up this morning and I just said, all right, let's start over again, and let's try to get that diet on track. And because of that, I woke up, I made some eggs for myself, protein, no bagel, no bread, no weirdness, none of that. And I took all my vitamins. I have all my vitamins here down in the basement, and I took all my vitamins, and I sat down, had a nice rock star, which I'm sorry, I'm never giving up either the rock stars or the monsters. I like them in the morning, and I feel great now. I feel great. That's all it is. Now, what do we do for lunch? For lunch, we plan a nice sweet potato. You can put it in the oven at 200 degrees right now, and it'll be ready at noon, and it's going to be perfect at noon. It'll be perfect. You eat that, and then at night, you have a nice piece of baked chicken. Throughout the day, you can make a nice fruit shake with a little kale in it, and have kind of it's just fruit. It's just fruit chopped up. It's wonderful. It's absolutely terrific. That's how to feel good. That's how to lose weight. I don't want to feel bad right now. Too many great things are happening. I definitely want to feel my best and take off this 10 pounds. These 10 pounds came on real quick. They're going to come right off again. And you guys, you'll stop saying, "Oh, look at your fat face," and that's important. That's important. People in the chat are saying, chicken." People are telling me to take a nap. No, Medium Giant says it's a losing battle, Ethan. You on the roller coaster diet. Now listen, I don't mind being on this diet. I don't mind it. You guys have to understand, when I let go, and I'm just like, I'm gonna have pie. I don't need to have pie. I don't need to have it. I don't need to have it all the time. Andrea says you're addicted to pie. I'm not addicted. I can quit anytime. Absolutely, I can quit anytime. So that's where we're at right now. I woke up and I was ready to go. Came downstairs and fired up the computer, and somebody had sent me a link to this NPR article. Not an article. Like, what would you call it if it's on NPR? Radio segment and of a piece. Okay, and it's like the alt-right in comics. Let me have a look at this and just make sure. I'm going to give you guys the information, like what this actually was, so that you know it. It's called revealnews.org, and it's called Never Meet Your parentheses, one set of parentheses, superheroes. And it says there's a new battlefield in the culture war: comic books. The alt-right now has gotten in the business, led by a buxom Confederate flag waving superhero named Rebel, and a white vigilante who turns immigrants over to ICE. What is that book? What is that book? Yeah. Who's the white vigilante that turns immigrants over to ICE? That is really funny and evil. I like it. Ben Ponchetti says, "Stop fat shaming yourself." I'm not fat shaming myself. I like me. I don't look in the mirror and go, "Oh no, What I do is I say, how come I don't feel good? How come I don't feel at my best? And listen, I've spent a week and a half indulging in pie. Uh, has it been a week? It might have been 2 weeks indulging in pie. It's time to quit. It's time to stop. It was fun for a little while, and now it's time to move on. Uh, let's see. The alt right is yeah, 250 pounds is correct, Gavin. That is the correct number. Thank you. Uh, yeah, Tonka Saw. Hey, how you doing? I'm glad you're in my chat, buddy. Appreciate you. Now, listen. Never meet your superheroes. There's a new battlefield in the culture wars comic books. The alt right has now gotten in the business, led by a buxom Confederate flag waving superhero named Rebel. Of course, we've seen that book. We've reviewed that book. That's Vox Day. And a white vigilante who turns immigrants over to ICE. Now, I don't know the white vigilante who turns immigrants over to ICE, but if you listen to this piece on Reveal, I guess this was shown on, or I don't know, played on. Who listens to NPR? Who listens to NPR? I don't know who does that, but somebody does, I guess. And they talk about, like, they open up with like this spooky scene. It's like uh, a brown man cowers in an alleyway. A brown man attacks a white woman in an alleyway, and suddenly, he's about to do whatever he's going to do when a white vigilante comes down from the sky and smacks him across the face and says, and wraps him up and says, "You're waiting here for immigration control." It's like dun dun dun. Okay, I've never heard of this book. It's probably another Vox Day book. But anyway, I listened to this because it's about Amanda Robb. Amanda Robb is Amanda Robb is a very persistent reporter. I don't know if she's necessarily a smart woman, but she's a good journalist because she's out there to get the story. And I got to, as soon as I heard Amanda Robb's voice again, because her voice is in this little radio piece, I got goosebumps because Amanda Robb was emailing me an awful lot and saying, everyone's saying that I need to talk to you about Comicsgate. And actually, Vox Day himself called me up. This was one of the first times he called me up. He called me up and he just said, "Hey, you should talk to this Amanda Robb. I like Amanda Robb. I think she's going to do a good and fair article about right-leaning comics." And I was like, well, what the, I don't want to talk to anyone. I don't want to talk to the press. My whole thing is to not talk to the press because they're all going to write awful things about me anyway. Why should I help them? But anyway, at first I was like, yeah, I guess I'll talk to you, and then I was kind of like, no, I don't want to talk to you anyway, because it's just going to lead to more harassment. I mean, every time I show up in the press anywhere, like my family gets harassed by these left-wing lunatics. It's just nonstop. And at the time, this was like January or February of this year, I was still not fully on board with Comicsgate. I didn't choose to be Comicsgate. I am Comicsgate because I was forced to be Comicsgate. I was pushed into this predicament. This happened to me. It's not something that I went, I'm going to start, a movement and I'm going to have a big, no. A lot of people hounded me down for my politics and forced me into this position where I have to kind of take a stand. I mean, morally, I don't have a choice anymore. It is about personal integrity. It is about morality. At some point, you have to stand up and and be like, ethically, what is going on in comics is wrong, and what's being reported is a bunch of lies, and I'm here to bear witness to it. It's like, everything that you're saying is happening to these poor SJWs in comics is actually being perpetrated by these poor SJWs in comics towards right wingers in comics. Anyone who comes out and makes their position known. Hey, I voted for Trump. I'm a Trump supporter. They get hounded and attacked and harassed, and it's ugly. And every single it's like every 4 months they kind of they calm down and then they sort of act up again. So I told Amanda Robb, I was like, I'm just not. I don't want this. I don't want this kind of attention. I don't want this attention from you. They already broke this window in this pizza parlor. They threatened me if I was going to show up at Gotham City Pizza in Florida and do a signing. They made it pretty clear that they do have intention to continue and escalate this kind of harassment. I don't need you to be a part of it. And so then she kind of just decided she was going to show up anyway, and at one of my signings, and sit down next to me and basically show me a portfolio of lies that have been concocted by SJWs, and say, "Is Cyberfrog Pepe?" It's like, well, look at this. It's a frog, and he's a frog, and how can this be? How can there be two frogs? And you're a Trump supporter, and it's like I had to sit there and tell this wide-eyed woman. It's like, no, like Cyberfrog's been around since 1993, and Pepe, I don't know when he was created, but I was the first cartoon frog artist. Well, you're both. How come now? Why now? Why would you bring out Cyberfrog now? Because these people that you're representing, and that you're trying to appease with your article, have hounded me out of mainstream comics. That's why. I don't have a choice. I have to keep working because I have a family, all of this stuff. So I have this character that I've had since 1993. I'm going to bring him back out again. I think he's a pretty cool looking character, and I have an idea for a story. And none of this made sense to her. So when I saw this article, when I saw this piece, I was like, oh God, am I going to be in this? She did have a tape recorder out. She recorded our conversation. She took pictures of me, a lot of pictures of me, and I was worried that I was going to be in this thing. So I sat down and listened to it. And I got to say, it was absolutely stunning. Most of it was about Vox Day. The Vox Day part was hilarious. Their description of Vox Day is pretty much dead on. I did enjoy that. But then they got really sad. Like, they got to this part that really bothered me because, right when Amanda Robb sandbagged me in Florida, she also was headed towards Port Richey, where Chuck Dixon was doing a signing, and she was going to sandbag Chuck Dixon as well and get an interview with Chuck. I don't think Chuck wanted to talk to her, but he did, and he actually wrote to me and said, "I heard you got sandbagged too." And I said, "Yeah, it wasn't so bad." He was just like, "Well," he didn't answer. I was like, "Were you all right? Was it okay?" And he didn't really answer me about it. Well, I got to hear his interview in this, and you'll hear his interview too if you listen to this. Opinion. All right, I'll get to these super chats in a minute. Let me just finish this part. So I listened to it, and you're being. There's a guy who sits down with Chuck Dixon, and apparently this guy, I don't even know who he is. I'm looking at the names. The show was produced by. I'm looking at the names. I don't know. Esther Kaplan, editor Esther Kaplan, Amanda Robb. Show was produced by Michael Schiller. I don't know. Kevin Sullivan. One of these people is the person who sat down. He's a man who sits down with Chuck Dixon, and he says, "I've had the pleasure of writing Nightwing." So I don't know who this is. I don't know who the guy is that wrote Nightwing, and sits down with Chuck Dixon and basically says, "I'm like your biggest fan. You went to CrossGen, and I bought those awful CrossGen books just because your name was on them. That's a big deal. And now here you are. Can you tell me why you're working with Vox Day? How did it happen? Like, why?" And Chuck is just like, "Well, I honestly don't know very much about him. He called me up and offered me a job in creative freedom, and I said, yeah. I guess I don't agree with everything Vox Day says, but I took the job." Like, he's stammering, and I'm just like, "What, Chuck? Why don't you tell them the reason why you're working for Vox Day? Why don't you actually just tell them the truth about it? Why is someone like Chuck Dixon writing for someone like Vox Day in this market? Why?" He's 64 years old, and because of his politics, he has been effectively blacklisted. Now, for some reason, DC gave him a 12-issue Bane maxi series last year, which was nice of them. It didn't lead anywhere. And I don't know when the last time he wrote something for Marvel is, but this is a very prolific writer. This is a very skilled and prolific writer who has created some of the most popular characters that DC owns, including Bane. I mean, he created Bane. That's important. But, it's just, he's an important writer in comics, and he can't get work, and he's 64 years old. Now, in case you don't understand this, in case you're not aware of this, comics don't pay that well. I mean, they don't. They pay okay. They pay a good living wage for most people. There are a handful of people who will make 7 figures a year in comics, in mainstream comics. We're talking like a half dozen people. Most people are doing very well. I don't know, 20% make six figures or so. Most people don't. Most people don't. And if you stop working and you haven't been saving, you're in real trouble. And stopping working could happen at any time for any reason. There could be some kind of editorial shift at Marvel or DC where the editor that you were friendly with, that you were depending on, suddenly is no longer working there, and you are then probably going to have trouble getting work from here on out. It's all about personal relationships. You have an editor that you're friendly with who gives you work. If he's not there anymore because DC has moved from New York to California, or if he got fired, or for any of these reasons, you're going to be affected by that. You're just not going to be able to get work. So here's Chuck Dixon. Why are you working for Vox Day? Should have said, because he's the only one who will offer me paying work right now. I'm Chuck Dixon. I created Bane. I created Tim Drake. I created Spoiler. Uh, and I've spent 40 years in comics, like writing some of the best known, best loved, you admit, comics that people remember, and that's all gone now, because I made it, clear who I was. I told people that I was a Republican. I told people that I was right wing. I can't get work now. So because the industry is what it is, it's largely extreme left. I can't get any work, and so somebody who comes and offers me work, I can't afford. I can't afford to make a judgment about who this person is. I can't sit there and say to myself, well, is this guy more right wing than me? Is this a good guy or a bad guy? What is NPR going to say about me? What is Polygon going to think about me? What is the Mary Sue going to write? I don't have that luxury. I'm not that guy. I am not Scott Snyder. I am not Gail Simone. I'm not these people. I'm Chuck Dixon, and I have to make choices at this point in my career at age 64 based on who's going to pay me. Not on any other thing. And if by the way, if that person also says I'll give you creative freedom, I mean that's that's a pretty big deal. So Chuck Dixon just kind of says, I don't know very much about him, and he just said I could have some creative freedom, and that the whole interview with Chuck Dixon made me so angry. Excuse me, one second. It made me so angry because it was like, you're forcing this guy into a really embarrassing spot. He's a man. Chuck Dixon is a very masculine superhero writer. He's not a victim. He's not someone who's going to complain. He's not going to sit there and say, I'm a victim of SJWs in comics. They've made my life really difficult. I can't get work anymore because people don't agree with my politics. And I'm a really good writer, and everyone admits it. Everyone says to me that, I've written the things, I've written the comics that made the whole world sing. But it doesn't matter because, editorial is on both sides of the big two are just filled with people who are hostile towards me for my politics and won't put those aside and give me work doing what I do best. And he even says, he's like, look, I write Batman and I write these passionate anti-gun screeds that Batman gives. I don't agree with a word of it, but I'm able to put it aside and write a convincing anti-gun argument that Batman would give because I'm a writer. I'm a real writer. I don't put my politics into my own work. I'm appropriate. I do my job. I write for these characters. I have integrity. I have integrity. Mary Vanillo. Yes. He writes about gun control and special things. He wrote the comics that made the young girls cry. Chuck Dixon. He wrote the comics. He wrote the comics. So, I mean, that's, to me, that one section, and Vox Day is hilarious in this. He's a villain. Like Vox Day, we already know. Vox Day is he's a very small, diminutive Lex Luthor of comics. He is hilarious in this, perfect villain for these people. The thing about SJWs is everything is good and evil, black and white, and they all think that they are good. So it's kind of funny to see somebody like Vox Day come out and present himself as the perfect villain for them, and he is. And I don't, they can sit there and go, "Well, we're not. He's the bad guy." Now confronting Comicsgate, actual, more complex figures like me and Mitch Breitweiser, Doug TenNapel. I mean, this is a little bit trickier. Even Chuck Dixon, it's trickier for them because they can't paint you as evil and them good. They just have difficulty with that. We're able to uh, we're able to shine in a way that kind of puts them back on their heels. But Vox Day is the ideal villain for them. His name means the voice of God. That startles them. All of it is very, very funny, and it is a great. If you have a chance to listen to it, it's great. Chelsea Kane comes on there and tells her story for a long time. I fast forwarded through Chelsea Kane, and then Sana Amanat too. I fast forwarded through that. I was just looking for my own name, to be honest with you. I was like, talk about me now. No, not talking about me. They mention diversity in comics without mentioning his name. They go, and then there's one YouTube critic who rose up and became very proud. By the way, they keep talking about how profitable it is for Zach, your boy Zach, his YouTube channel. I know what his YouTube channel makes. He doesn't make that much money doing this. He doesn't. If you think Zach is getting rich making his videos on YouTube, no, he's not. He's doing it because he believes in it. It is. I know. SJWs think that everyone's doing everything for money all the time, and they don't really believe in what they're saying if they don't agree with social justice. But no, he's just doing that because he believes in what he's saying. I mean, the money is not that much. K-Sis says Zach needs t-shirts. I agree, but again, he doesn't have t-shirts because he's not doing this for the money, really. If he was doing it for the money, he would do t-shirts. Wretched Excess says, hey, he can afford super cuts. That is true. He's not doing so bad. And by the way, he saved money on that. He went to super cuts. They stabbed him in the back of the neck on accident. Finger quotes, air quotes. And he didn't have to pay the $6. And that's seems like a good deal to me. Get stabbed in the neck, you don't have to pay the $6 for the haircut. Kin Fatsu, thanks for 200 yen. Yo, Ethan, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning. Jedi Knight and a friend to Captain Solo, thanks for $2. Will Ruin, stop attacking trans people. Hashtag love Orion's hate. No, he never will. He's been called out twice now attacking transgender people on Twitter. I might do another video about it. I don't know. I love the way he blames his thumb when he accidentally, again, air quotes, accidentally likes anti-transgender tweets. It is very peculiar. Ram, and by the way, and when they say, Ryan, no, you're not meant to hit that. You shouldn't have liked that tweet. That's a bad tweet. And Ryan's like, oh, my bad. Let me unlike that. Let me unfavorite that. Let me unretweet that bigotry. I don't know. It just makes me laugh. Ram S, thanks for a £2 donation. Purple Dragon, no homo. Purple Dragon, €2. Opinion on Witchblade, the comic book. I thought the comic book was really cool, a really good idea. That was in the 90s when, Michael Turner was, just, I don't know. He was a new flavor for Top Cow, for Image Comics. And Witchblade looked like a pretty neat idea. I love the idea of kind of armor, kind of organic armor growing all over your body in weird splotchy patches. If you're a woman, showing a little skin, big claws on your fingertips. Yeah, it looked all right. Yeah, I did I ever draw Witchblade or any Witchblade anything? I don't think I ever drew any Witchblade. I thought she was good. I thought the TV show was less interesting. Didn't look as interesting or cool. Low budget. But yeah, bring it back. Why not? Why not? Yeah, so this is the thing. After having listened to Chuck Dixon on this NPR show, you realize the importance of Comicsgate and what we have to offer. I mean, it's just like, Chuck, You don't have to work for Vox Day. You don't have to explain yourself to SJWs. They don't understand. People do, normal people live in homes. They have mortgages. They have bills to pay. They don't have 6 or 7 roommates, stoner roommates. They all kick in together towards $800 a month rent. That's not, that's just not the way normal people live. They do have to continue to pay the bills. And a lot of people have devoted their lives to comics. And something for me. There's so many great, talented people out there. My God, Antonio, is that you?
It is me. How are you,
You
my friend?
you totally scared the hell out of me there. I'm sitting here looking at the super chats page. I did not see your avatar pop up, and then I just say something and I hear in my ears. Actually, it sent a shiver up my spine, Antonio. But welcome. It's good to have you. My
Oh,
co-host
thank
Antonio
you.
Bryce. How was work tonight?
Actually, I didn't work. I didn't have to work. I didn't. Yeah, because I was. We were off today. We were preparing for. We're going into what we call our peak season, and so they decided to shut the plant down and give us a night off so that they could kind of tweak a few things. And so I was like, hey, I don't have a problem with that in the world. So let's do it, baby.
A
And
nice
so,
night off.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I gotta go back in tonight though.
Well, I mean, listen, it's good. So you stayed up. You stayed up all night.
Well, actually, I literally just woke up about 10 minutes. I was like, oh man, I'm late. I was like, Ethan doing the morning show, and I got to get up. So
Yeah, I'm trying to get on a regular schedule. It's hard. It's hard to do a morning show and a Comic Skate live because it basically it's both ends of the candle. You got to do a show at 9 p.m., end it at midnight, go to bed, wake up early as you possibly can, and then start the morning show. I don't know. I tried last week was all about experimentation. I tried to scale back on the live streams because I think it was throttling my channel. Um, and I did. I just started putting up more kind of 15-minute videos and holding back on live streams and also taking down live streams. Holy cow, dude. The My subscribers have been eating me up for that, chewing me up. Where are the live streams?
you know what? That's funny, man. Because like I don't know why, but whenever you do something and they don't like it, all of a sudden I get emails asking for people asking me. They're like in my DMs, like, "Hey, what's going on with Ethan, man? Why is he deleting this stuff?" And I'll be like, "I'm the ass Ethan. I don't know."
Yeah. Well, I know. I know. Well, because everyone tells me different things and I listen to people. And that's maybe what I shouldn't do. Maybe I should just kind of stick with my own. Maybe I should stick to my own guns. But at the same time, when we do these morning shows, I kind of feel like it's like a newspaper. It's a portrait. It's better to have it live. Like you should be here live to just hear what we're talking about, and then to post it and leave it up there. I'm like, isn't it like stale bread at this point? Like, why would you want to? But no, people are saying no. We want it. We listen to it. When we're doing this or that, doing housework, going to and from work. That's important to me. So I get it. I'll,
Yeah, now I will say the only feedback I've gotten is sometimes they feel like when we go into like we've gone like 3.5 and stuff like that, a lot of people are saying if y'all just do like an hour or two, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of people are like, man, sometimes y'all go a little too long, but if it was like about hour and a half, 2 hours, I'd be straight with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that is the problem, by the way, with having a lot of people on. I'll do Comicsgate live, and if it's just me, I can get in and out in an hour. And these subs will tell you that. It's like I used to just come on and do a 1 hour live stream. I'd open with a song and I'd close with a like little quick set of my terrible music, and that was just the thing. But when there are more people to come on, it's like I'll be ready to shut down, and 3 more people will show up. Like, hey, it's Yellow Flash. Hey, it's Cecil. I'm like, oh God, it's Cecil. We're gonna be here for another hour. So that's the thing. They run on for like 4 hours, and then we did this. The one that I took down was a 5 hour live stream called "The Last Temptation of Doug TenNapel."
And that
And
was that was the hashtag six figures. Well,
six figures bitch was in there, but and that's good. Hashtag six figures bitch is great. The other thing that people were, it was 5 hours long, but the other thing that people really liked was Cecil showing up and doing Smugless.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I was definitely on that show and very proud to have been part of it.
Yeah, yeah. Smugless people liked it. They were angry that they didn't get that I didn't keep it. Now I have it. I could cut it down, but I mean, I don't know. It's
Well,
all
yeah,
it.
there was some people from like overseas, and they were like, "Dude, why did he tell you?" He's like, "I kind of caught like 5 minutes of it," and I was like, "Oh, when I get home, I'll be able to watch it." And so, like some of your overseas fans, they
Yeah,
were upset because they was
yeah.
like, it sounded like it was really funny, and it was hilarious.
Some of it was funny, but some of it also just became a cacophony of people talking over each other. Like my
Mm,
impression while it was happening. Here's what I like, Antonio. Some of these guys need to learn to become better broadcasters, which is, first of all, when you hear me reading a super chat, that means shut up because somebody paid to hear their words on. So, I'll sit there and go, hey, Rams S, thanks for £2. Morning. Can I still order a copy of Cyberfrog? Now, that's his super chat. He paid £10 to hear that. And when I start to read it, I'll have to cut myself off because somebody just interrupts you or walks over you or talks over you and stuff. And it's like, I started to yell at people.
yeah, and that's another thing. Some people had told me they were like, they like uh, uh pretty much everybody was like, well, I like when it's you and Ethan and y'all can add just like maybe 2, 3 max. But when y'all get like 10 people in there, it's everybody's talking over each other.
It's a
And
free for all.
yeah, and is they were wanting you to maybe cut some of the guests down. Don't have like 10 mega guests on all at the same time. And so
Yeah.
I was like, I was like, tell that to Ethan. I don't, I'm just thankful that you allow me to come on. I don't
Yeah,
want to
but
be like, hey,
Antonio, you are a really good co-host.
and I appreciate that. And like I said, because I spent the weekend. There was a gentleman trying to educate me about you. He was trying to tell me uh, that he was talking about Moose. He was like, I was friends with Ethan for
Mhm.
about 5 or 6. I saw him trolling your page too, and he was trolling. He was anybody that was using the hashtag six figures bitch. He was trying to go in there and troll and do stuff. And I was like, dude,
It's
I don't want to. Let's stop it, man.
yeah, it's hard. Six figures bitch is probably one of the best hashtags. Who came up with six figures? Was that you who came up with six
You
figures
said
bitch?
it, and it was my idea to hashtag it.
Okay, all right, yeah. So six
Yeah,
figures
yeah, because
bitch.
I was like, I need a T-shirt with that. That was money, because you was promoting Doug, and then I went on Twitter and I just started like I hashtagged it and sent it out, and then everybody in the chat started sending it out, and that scared them, man, because they saw. I'm gonna tell you something, just
Mhm.
from me retweeting and just retweeting people that was doing that hashtag and stuff. We raised almost $1,000 on brand, and we weren't even promoting it at that time because we were pushing Bigfoot Bill. And I got a bunch of subscribers on my YouTube. I got a bunch of followers on Twitter just from doing that. People were like, "Oh wow, wow!" And because they were looking for me when I told them I was retweeting everybody that said hashtag six figures bitch. They were going crazy, and I was
Yeah,
just like, "Yeah,
that's infuriating for people who hate us. I mean, six figures bitch is just like, well, look, hate all you want, continue to hate. But like we're doing really well. It's like and that caused like a whole new brand, like a whole new thing where our enemies kind of came out and said, oh, well, if money is all that matters in your business, it's like, yes, it is.
that's what I'm
I
saying,
know.
man." I was like, "I'm about to hit, yeah, I'm literally about to hit 40,000 on brand." You know what I'm saying? We're less than $700 away from going over 40K, man. I was just like, I was blown away by that, man. Kanan's like going crazy. I'm like, wow, man, this is incredible. And we only
Yeah, by the way, I just put the link to Brand by Antonio Bryce. Is Kanan in here?
Yes, I am.
I'm
All
about to say, yeah,
right.
'cause I know he just messaged me. That's why I was like, I know he's up.
How you doing, Kanan?
I'm doing good, man. A little tired, but I was a little under the weather the last few days, but I'm good now. I'm better.
Excellent.
I just got to learn to rest. That's all.
Yeah, you got to get the 8 hours in a row. I got to do it too, Kanan. I'm having trouble.
8 hours is rough.
Yeah, I'll sleep for 3 hours and wake up, and then I'll be sleeping all through the day. You know, it's like
same here. I think I slept Saturday all the way, man. I think once I finally was coherent enough to function, it was about 10 o'clock at night, man. I was just like, dang, dude, I'm a true third shift.
Yeah. We got to get you a better microphone. Your microphone sounds horrible, Kanan.
It's far away. I think that's why.
Do you have a blue Yeti? What do you have?
Yeah, it's a CAD, dude. I got this mic like 4 or 5 years ago. I just never set it up until now, so it's outdated.
You sound better now. You sounded a little bit like canned before, but yeah, you sound good. Listen, guys, we have the creative team behind Brand with us right here. We've got the artist Kanan White. We have the writer Antonio Bryce. Two of them, great comic skaters. I would love to see you guys get 6 figures, bitch. I would love to see that.
That'll be dope.
Oh my God. I put the link in the description. Brand by Antonio Bryce, Kanan White. We're at $39,373 right now. If you haven't backed it yet, you should do that. It drives these people nuts. I mean, it really does. So when the hashtag 6 figures bitch came out, suddenly there was a whole new batch of like angry SJWs, including what you're talking about. Moose Bauman came out. Moose is something else. Moose is just trying to like, Moose tries different insults. None of them really hit the mark. But he just kind of will sit there and say, all Ethan cares, Ethan will sell out his friends for money.
That's what they were telling me. They was like, you think you're cool with Ethan now, but as soon as you're done, he's going to use you up. I was cool with Ethan for 5 or 6 years. And I mean, when Richard came in and Richard was like a fly on the wall, and then Richard started becoming, I was just like, okay, man, I don't care. Whatever this is, take that up with him, man. Cause I'm like, Ethan ain't been nothing good with me. I don't care.
Yeah, it's history. That's history stuff.
That's why I was like, it ain't nothing. It has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, what am I taking from you guys? Can you tell me like what? So when I'm done with you, so let's just say when I'll be done with you, having been done with you, let's say tomorrow I decide, you know what, I'm done with you guys. What have I taken from you?
Nothing. I would have gave you money. I would have gave you money to promote Brand. I was like, because people was thinking I was paying you and stuff. I was like, he had to ask me for a dime.
I don't take money from anyone.
Loyalty is inexpensive.
Right. Well, loyalty. God, Kanan, what are you doing?
I was adjusting my thing.
Lord, man, I try to tell him.
I was adjusting my.
You gotta mute your microphone or something. Holy cow! All right, listen.
It was my Cintiq. I shifted over and I just unplugged like all my hard drives.
Kanan is valuable because his drawing, like when he draws live, it is unstoppable. Like I'll just put that up there. Kanan's artwork is he does it all on his digitally Cintiq, I guess. And boy, is it fun to watch you draw.
Thank you, man.
It is totally awesome. Yeah, so anyway, that's the whole thing. So a whole new batch of like weirdness. Moose Bauman saying that like Ethan would sell out all his friends and his family for money. It's just not what I do. That's not a good caricature of me. That's not a good depiction of who I am. It's quite the opposite. Turns out I kind of give all my friends and family everything, and then sometimes some people sell me out, and it makes me sad. But yeah, I don't. I have been done with people before. Richard Pace is someone. Richard Pace apparently wrote a 21 tweet screed about me, which I haven't read because he's got me blocked. But it's like, Richard Pace is someone who I actually was done with. Have you ever just been done with someone? You just go, you know what? Like, this isn't something I need in my life anymore. So I'm going to quietly kind of just back out of this whole scenario. And this person was a friend, but I don't need it anymore. And you just kind of do that. Is that just me, or do other people do that too?
I do that with this whole fighting on social media. I told somebody, I was like, bro, I was like, man, I don't pick fights on social media, man. I'm done.
That's exactly what my policy is, and I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people don't know, man. Me and Kanan are not friends right now. He cut me off the other day.
Whatever. Don't fuel the fire, Antonio. No,
there are people in the chat who are saying, no, it's not just you, Ethan. Yeah, I've done that. I've been done with plenty of people, et cetera, et cetera. They're just times where, oh, look at this. Toem123 says, did I miss something? Is there a schism between EVS and DNC? No, hell no. Me and Zach are tight. I mean, really, really good friends. We had a really nice kind of talk about where we're going next with Comicsgate last night. We kind of line up on some stuff. I said to him, one of the things I said to him was that it was really important during these, because we both agreed that this was a big tidal wave that happened of abuse. It's like all of these articles, all of the weirdness, people coming out and condemning us. That was an organized, planned, obnoxious tidal wave of abuse. And these come every 2 months or so. And this was a particularly bad one. But because we're so unified and because we're so excited and because of things like Six Figures Bitch and all of that, everyone just feels good and we're able to just kind of brush this off our shoulders. Remember Obama doing the brush off his shoulders thing?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's us in so many ways. They have no power over us. They can't control us. We just succeed and we, continue to do better. And I said, it's really important that while this stuff happens, we retain, this kind of positive message. So just keep, even though sometimes it's like, oh God, these people are just, retain your positivity. Just keep putting positive messages out there. Laugh, make sure that you're having fun, because this is fun, and people, should feel good about what we're doing. By the way, I mentioned it, Kanan. I mentioned this in a video that I just put up. I bit my tongue last night, and the whole side. You ever do that? You ever and it's like I'm trying. I told Andrew, I was like, I talk like a lot. My part-time job is to talk, and it's like I bit my tongue. It's a bitch, and it's like every now and then I just feel myself kind of like flubbing a word. So if you hear a thick-tongued word flubbery, that's because I bit my.
Got you.
To you,
you're good, man.
All right, just so that you know,
you're good.
All right, let me see these super chats here, and let's see if there's people were asking, hey, how can I order a copy of Cyberfrog? Rams S, thank you for £2. You can't order one now. It's more or less sold out in terms of Indiegogo. Okay, but you're going to be able to get one eventually. You're just going to have to wait. Everyone who pre-ordered Cyberfrog on Indiegogo, I gave 2 opportunities, and I think that was pretty good. I know it sucks for people who are just coming on board and didn't know, but we'll have to wait until the next thing, and then I'll make sure that you have a chance to get a copy of Blood Honey, as well as the next Cyberfrog book, which is called Wrecked Planet, co-written by the great Dave Sim.
Yes.
Less than 500 away. All right.
Are we doing good? Let's check brand.
Oh yeah, we doing all right.
Yeah, brand has jumped up to $39,583. I would love to see you guys hit 40 today. Oh, you've only got 21 hours left.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
This is the twilight.
Damn. All right, so do the math for me real quick. That means you guys are going to be done 21 hours from now. Tonight at 2, tomorrow morning at 2 a.m., 3 a.m. You guys will be
somewhere
done.
around there. It's supposed to be the morning.
Yeah, we'll have to do a live stream tonight, Antonio, if you're up.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta be at work, but I will try to get up out of there, because I was just like, man, I was wanting to get back on. I was like, man, I feel like when I go to work now, it's costing me money. No, seriously, I come home and I can raise 300, 400, 700, and I'm sitting there going, this is a waste of my time being in here.
Yeah.
I'm making maybe $180 a day when I'm at work. So, and I'm like, oh, it drives me
temporary, man.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I just want to be my own boss. I just want to be able to write full time and just be able to do that, man.
That's the dream. That's what we're trying to make happen right now. We're trying to make it possible for people to work in comics, full time, successfully, be your own boss, write your own characters and stuff. And that's, that is the dream that many people have. I think we make it possible. I think we make it probable, which is pretty cool. We've been following brand. Did I tell you? Did I say move it over to Indiegogo?
You did.
Okay.
I was on Kickstarter, and it was, hell, nobody was watching it. Nobody cared. And I was like, that was our second time, because it was like $95 on Indiegogo, and then I moved to Kickstarter. We got up to $18.95, and and then it died. Nobody cared after we had like an initial backing, and then it was just dying. And then you reached out to me and was like, "Hey, move that back over. We can get you funded." And
honestly,
I'm like, I'll be more than happy to do that. Yeah.
I didn't even know you launched anything related to brand until you told me. I was like,
yeah,
oh, okay.
Kanan, you don't never check your messages, man. That's why I didn't know you, man. I mean, like, and Kanan don't be like, "Oh, are we live?" Oh man, I'm like, dude. That's why I was like, look, but Kanan and I both said, "Hey, man, stay in your lane, do what you do." So a lot of times, Kanan will be, Kanan takes care of the art, So I have a background in affiliate marketing and social media promotion, so that's what I do. So that's why that was one of the reasons why when you said the six figures, bitch, I said we need to hashtag that, because I knew that sounded. If I had been smart, I would have put that on some t-shirts, man. Because I was like, I need six figures, bitch, on a t-shirt. And I mean, we could have just like went crazy with, because I'm just saying the thousands and thousands that scared them, because it was still late at night when we did that. It wasn't like prime time. There were people. We had like 1,400 people in the chat. People were going crazy on that hashtag. And that scared them. They were like, "Oh my God, these guys are really motivated. We gotta shut this down."
Yeah, I think that's why there are so many crazy attacks right now. I mean, it just has to be. It's like this. They're afraid. If more people realize they could make six figures on a single comic. El Gaucho says, "Who are these men?" Well, my name is Ethan Van Sciver. I'm the host of Comic Artist Pro Secrets, 25-year comic book professional, pop culture critic, and the creator of Cyberfrog Blood Honey. In this chat, we also have Antonio Bryce, who is the writer of a book called Brand. It's an Indiegogo campaign that he's getting started right now. His artist, Kanan White, is in here as well. And Kanan White is, I don't know if you can see the art on the screen or not. I'm not sure.
Zoom in real quick so you can see a little better. There you go.
Yeah, I clicked on you. I'm just making sure that I don't know if it's on the screen. So Kanan White is the artist of Brand. You can see he's doing a live drawing for you right now. And yeah, we are Comicsgate. We're Comicsgate. So welcome. I hope you are enjoying the show. My YouTube says Mundane Matt made an apology video. Did he really? Oh, people say they can only see my icon.
Oh yeah, you probably have to click on Kanan.
I clicked on Kanan. I don't know if it's not working. Only see your laughing men on black. That's weird. All right, so you guys can't even see anyone.
I'm looking at the stream. I only see your icon too.
Oh, there we go. I see you. All right.
But I don't see us.
You see me, but you don't see anyone else. That's weird. No, don't say Boomer. It's not me. It's the
Boomer.
I don't think it's me at all. Let me see this. Hide participants is on. Now are you on? Let me see. I just clicked something that said hide participants, and I think now maybe not.
No, I still see you. Let me refresh real quick. Because I got our stream up and then I got the
show participants. All right, now it's show participants.
It still just shows you.
I don't know what to say, guys. I apologize. It's weird. You're gonna have to take my word for it, those of you in the chat. I mean, I am here. It's not me doing two other voices. There are two other gentlemen in the chat. One of them is Kanan White. He is an artist. He's drawing, even though it's not helping you at all because you can't see it. And Antonio Bryce, who is the artist. So just that's.
Check out some of the art on Twitter if you want to.
There's definitely
stuff on Twitter and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tech issue, guys. So what the hell were we talking? Oh yeah, okay. So let me just get back to these super chats. I get thrown off. Risey Toxic Fan Lee. The morning show rocks with the two of you. I for one love the long streams. Also, please keep them. I always say the customer is always right. You guys are the customer, and this too. YouTube Comic Artist Pro Secrets is a business, so we have to listen to you guys, and you guys are saying keep the streams. We will. E. Michael, $2. Organize it so you pass your audience to other Comicsgate. Organize it so you pass your audience to other Comicsgate. Oh, so
they kind of like Twitch. You know, Twitch, you can like send your. I don't know if YouTube can do it, but I know Twitch allows you to kind of host somebody. You know what I'm saying? And it'll send you their viewers. I don't know if you can do that with YouTube though.
I'm not entirely sure.
I think that's
screen share here. Let's see, share. All right, now something different's on the screen, right? Or no?
Yeah, the web page is. Yeah, you can see the page, but you can't see us. You can just see the page.
All right, that's fine. This is good. This is a good thing. So you're not just looking at my avatar. $39,643. By the way, this is Brand here by Antonio Bryce and Kanan White. What is this even about? Let me ask Kanan what it's about. Kanan, what is it about?
Brand is, in a nutshell, well, it's a love story, but it's also a battle between heaven and hell. And basically, there's a whole like mystic warriors or holy warriors that have been assigned to the planet, and their job is to basically bring balance and order. And so in the midst of that, they're to stick to their duty. They're not to do any major interaction with humanity short of protection. Well, David Craven, you know, in the process, he runs into Dawn, who is a basically down and out, kind of trying to get her life back together human. And so he ends up protecting her, but you know, it's like those movies where you got the assassin and he actually ends up falling in love. That's kind of the situation with David Craven. He actually ends up falling for Dawn, which, because of his pledge and his creation as a warrior, he is not allowed to do that. It's interfering with the balance. And so what makes it worse is eventually they end up having a child. So here you have this individual trying to balance his duty as a protector as well as his desire to protect his woman and their child. And as a result, it unleashes, all hell breaks loose. And you know, he finds himself stuck in the middle between two ultimate forces, one that's trying to keep things in order and the other one that's trying to destroy everything and bring chaos. So and in the process, he has his version of, you can call him like a Jarvis, but a penance, which is a mask. Well, it looks like a mask, but it's actually an entity that.
The mask is alive.
Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, and actually, the spear and really any weapon that David Craven wields, penance, has the ability to become that. So and then he also can merge with David Craven and they become like this super version, which hopefully you guys get to see really soon because I got to draw.
Yeah.
So Antonio, how badly did he butcher it? Did he get it all wrong, the story? Or did he do a good job?
I thought he got about 98.99%. Yeah,
I know the story now. Come
on. Dude, I've been wearing him out on it. Yeah, so
now's the time to be hypercritical. What did he get wrong?
It's just like I said. Okay, so these warriors definitely.
I gave you the overview.
Yeah, overview. But yeah, these warriors are on Earth. There's only 1,000 of them on the entire planet, and 7 billion people, 1,000 of these warriors, and they basically. They hunt. They like rogue angels, demons. They ghosts. Like weird succubuses and things like. They're going to be dealing with all that, like covens. Weird magic users. And there's a third party. There's a group called the Covenant, and they are trying to bring this being called Deus back to our world, and obviously, they've been moving in the shadows, and the hunters do not know that these people exist. They are led by this gentleman that Kanan is drawing, a tech billionaire named Lionel Solomon, and he is, which that's actually what Kanan's working on. He's doing for our 30K stretch goal. He's doing the pinup that will be the Covenant pinup, where we will show all the key players. I know he's got Tobias Stone.
I'll turn everybody on so they can see.
Yeah. So it's like, there's a dwarf named Tobias Stone that is basically Lionel's godfather and the person that raised him after his parents died when he was a kid. And then there are the Asian twins, Jen and Jade. And there will be a big bodyguard by the name of Raymond Heath, which Kanan has not gotten to yet. These are all the people that work with Lionel and protect him and help him achieve his goals, and which is world domination. And so, and then obviously you got the masks, you've got the little demon reapers, you got all the little things that make up the world of Brand.
Now, it looks like it'd be good for Christmas. This looks like a good Christmas tale here. Perfect for the holidays. I love the evil Santa Claus. I think this is going to change people's holidays. You know, did you guys know I have a holiday tradition of drawing Santa Claus in his underwear?
No, I didn't know that. It
is true. I do that every Christmas. It's called Under Panta Claus, and I draw Santa Claus
under Panta Claus.
Awesome. He's in his tighty whities, and you know it's become a little bit of a tradition. I'll show you a few of them at some point, I'm sure. Actually, no, I drew one live.
I need one of those sketches, Ethan. I need one. I need you to show me some love and send me an Ethan sketch.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's important. So Brand by Antonio Bryson, Kanan White. Now we're at $39,699. That is impressive. We are only $301 away from a $40,000 landmark, which would be a nice thing to get to. I'd be very proud of you guys if we did that. You know, we could do that right now. Let's see. Prediction: 7 figures, bitch, says Ian Howe. Well, if we could get, let me tell you something. You want to see all hell break loose? A Comicsgate book getting to 7 figures would destroy the world. Now, at this point, it would destroy the world. Like they would, their heads would cave in. Nobody's made 7 figures on a comic book lately, except for Frank Miller with some, Batman contract at DC. 7 figures. Nobody's gotten that since Todd McFarlane and Spawn and all of that stuff. I mean, that's 7 figures, bitch, would really unsettle them.
Oh man,
that would be true 90s.
We could do it. I mean, we're gonna try to do it. I wish we could do it on Cyberfrog because we're gonna end up doing it on Rainbow Brute, and then I'm gonna get sued. They're gonna see it's like all those nice people at Hallmark that are looking at me going, "We know you, you son of a bitch." Those people are going to say, "Oh, well, we're gonna sue you for some of that." That's fine. Well, I have lawyers for that. We'll be ready. Oathkeeper 3P, I'm paying you to put that 5-hour live stream back up. I want to watch it, please. We can't always watch live, but I want to keep up with everything. Oathkeeper 3P, love you. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for actually really, really wanting to watch these live streams, even if you missed them the first time around. I hear you guys loud and clear. I will not remove a live stream again. I won't do it. Okay. I'm going to leave it up. I don't really care. What the consequences are. If it means that my YouTube channel gets throttled by YouTube, that's fine. You guys are true and good, and I'll leave it alone. Green Man, thanks for $5. Would it be possible to get black and white runs of your books? The inks alone are freaking good. What do you think of that?
That'd be kind of cool, but I don't know, Tony. What do you think?
Hey man, that doesn't. I've had people ask just to see the uncolored black and white art, and so I'm just like, yeah, that would be crazy. So I would, if that would be feasible, maybe down the line. I mean, we're still kind of raising these ends and dividends, man.
Yeah, be a neat little variant, to do a black and white version of it. It's a nice idea. It's a nice idea. Somebody said, hey, am I still going to be able to get, a copy of Cyberfrog? And I said, you don't understand. Like, yes, of course. Like I want to sell 1 million copies of Cyberfrog. I'll figure out whatever you guys want, we'll do. We are in business. We're definitely looking to figure out ways to make more money, with our comics, and that is a great idea. Yeah, and who wouldn't want to see Kanan's work just stripped down a color and just the inks? It looks good.
Which everybody keeps asking about the variant cover, which we do unlock at 40K. I tell you what, if we get to 40K before this show is over, I will reveal the name of the artist live on the air.
Really?
I will do it. It'll be an exclusive. And yeah, he is amazing.
He really is.
Well, we just jumped up to $39,722, so that's great.
That's what I'm saying. So yeah, if we get there, because I already had reached out to him. He was going to come on my channel, and we were going to make an announcement on the air. But I would more than happy if we hit 40K. Obviously, you have a big platform, and I will reveal the name of the artist that is doing the Dawn Craven variant right here on this show. If we reach 40K before the end of it.
Well, that sounds like a good deal. That sounds like something that people would like.
Yeah, we're less than 300 away, so it's doable. So,
all right. So let's see here. Hey, yo, Ethan, Antonio, and Kanan just backed Brand for my second sketch cover, says Toom.
Oh, thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Toei OM 123. Says luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. From some guy Cray KK is unfamiliar with. Yeah, I know. Listen, they're gonna do wacky things with Yoda in Star Wars Plan 9. They already revealed that. Like Yoda,
like what?
Yoda is gonna be in it. I'll tell you what they're planning on doing. Yoda is gonna be in awe of Rey. Yoda is going to try to train Rey, and Rey is gonna just blow him away with how powerful her womanhood is. Her Whammon force. And so Yoda is eventually going to be trained by Rey. It's going to go the other way around. Rey is going to train Yoda. Yoda is going to have to run around with Rey on her back and stand on his head and all that stuff.
So even him in Force Ghost, he can still learn different things, I guess, huh?
Absolutely. Yoda, Force Ghost Yoda is going to, well, he's got a lot to learn, and Rey could teach him. So that's what they're going to do. And for real, that is true. Like Yoda is just supposedly going to be in Episode 9 just to fawn over and validate Rey and how great she is. SJWs are terrible. I mean, they're just terrible people. They're bad creators. They suck. I don't know what it is. Here's what they think. They think that like people get, like, you can convince people to like a character or a superhero if you have everyone else on the screen telling that hero how great they are, and if that hero just does everything perfectly all the time. Like these people are like little robots. Like why that's not why people connect with heroes. The reason people love Spider-Man, everyone on the screen tells Spider-Man he's a piece of garbage all the time. They tell him he's a clown. Spider-Man rarely does anything right, until he absolutely needs to. He mostly goofs up, and people love him. And that's something that seems to be lost on SJWs when they create these characters. They're always perfect. They're always perfect in every way, and everyone loves them. Annoying. So that's what they're going to do with Rey.
And that's just taking the series further and further down the hole.
Yeah. That is correct. Backed both of Ethan's and backed Brand last week, says Kenneth LaRoque. Thank you, Kenneth. Appreciate you. Billy Ritchie says, Antonio, the missus loves your voice. For your information, she's a blonde. You like blondes, Antonio?
Yeah, blondes and redheads. I said, there's someone that obviously listened to Sexy Party, which, by the way, I'm not going to spoil this, but I actually wanted to show you something when we're private. But there's something cool happening with Sexy Party that I think you will find hilarious. I'll probably shoot you a small little preview on the DM and let you see it. But it is cool.
Whoa.
And it's super cool. It's going to be funny. And we've got another show coming up in a few days, me and Sashi, and I'm already kind of figuring out what we'll do that one about. So
it does. People are worried that it's going to be porn. By the way, oh, and that was from I don't know if I mentioned his name. That was from Billy Ritchie. Billy Ritchie, thanks for $1.99. By the way, the chat seems to be talking about a bounding into comics article about Ro Kabir Kumar, and everybody's saying F bounding into comics. I haven't seen that article. Did you guys see it?
No, from what I was told, it happened when the situation with John De La Rose happened, and when that happened, apparently they wrote an article about the whole situation, and it was apparently they mentioned the Roe thing, and they're saying it was a hit piece. I don't even know if the article's still up because I've been trying to read. I never read it. The only thing I can tell you is that
excuse me.
I had reached out to John, and he was going to talk to me in Canaan and try to help us promote brand. He's been nothing but nice to me, so I don't, like I said, I can't bash someone that's been kind to me. So I don't understand. I understand. I like Ro. I've been on Ro's show a few times. I was on with Ethan. I've been on a couple times. Ro's been cool with me. I don't have a problem with Ro. So I don't, like I said, I don't want to get caught in it. Like I said, John's been cool to me. Ro's been cool to me. I don't want to be in that. That's not.
So this is old. This is an old article. Why are people talking about it now?
I don't know. Well, I guess they've never issued a retraction or whatever. Like I said, I don't even see the article. I've tried to read it. I was like, I'd like to read it so I can actually educate myself and know what they're talking about. But I don't even know if the article is still up, if they took it down. So, that's a big thing for me. Well, muted. We don't agree. I'm sorry. I was like, like I said, and I see, sketch therapy. He's popped in a bunch of chats, and I don't have issues with y'all, man, but I can only treat people the way they treat me. And I haven't read this article. I'm trying because I have to see it. I would very much like to read it, and if it's something that like, hey, something that I can't stand with, then I would not be cool with it. But John's been a gentleman, so I don't want to bash John.
Well, I don't want to bash anybody, but I like Ro Kabir Kumar, and I do like him. I think he's a good guy, and
definitely.
I didn't know about any. I don't know why. This is the thing about Ro Kabir Kumar, though. He's not a creator. He's a fan. You could say he's a super fan. He shows up in chats. He's becoming, he's a critic on YouTube. I don't know why anyone would write an article about that. I think that's kind of peculiar to actually criticize in an article a super fan. But I don't even know. Like, everything's getting so weird. I don't quite understand it. I have to be frank. Everything's a little kooky. Everything's a little kooky right now.
It is. I mean, and honestly, man, it's almost you kind of have to, even with with the tweets and all that stuff, man. I have chosen to extract myself from all of that and just focus on creating. And even when people combat and say different stuff, like I had a good conversation with a pretty known artist, and he didn't agree with the Comics Gate thing, but dude, it was such a civil conversation, and they were like, you know what, man, we agree to disagree, and I respect your art. And he was like, likewise, and we went on. And of course, fans jumped in. They were like, nah, you had the extremes on both sides. And they started fighting. I was just like, I'm done.
Yellow Flash sent me over the article, by the way, that they're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Look at it.
If you could send that to my DM, I would very much like to read that. Because
we can look at it right now if you want to. I mean,
let's do that. Yeah, because I definitely want to. Let's chop it up.
Do you want to look at this article, or let's ask the people in the chat if you want to read this article with me? We could read it. If not, we'll move on. Let me just hear the chat actually give me a yes or a no. Yes to read, no to not read. And let me look at the super chats a little bit more. Son of Nimrod, thanks for £2. Appreciate that. Retcon81, sending some backed love from Australia. The art and concept sounds awesome. You guys sound chill and down to earth. Happy to support passionate people. Looks like most people are saying, yeah, they want me to read it. So, all right, let's read it. Let me share the screen if I still can. You never know with this computer. It's a brand new computer, and it's clowning me all the time. Okay, so this article, look at that beautiful artwork. Is that Mike Zeck?
It's class.
Is that Mike Zeck? Yeah, it's really nice, man. This is when Marvel was Marvel. Yeah, I think this is Mike Zeck from Secret Wars.
Mm.
I just have to look at this for a minute. I mean, it's like, this is when I was reading Marvel comics, and I absolutely loved it. Let's not turn Comicsgate, #Comicsgate, into #Dramagate. Written by somebody named DC Green. Who was DC Green?
Yeah, I just know John. That's why I was like, okay.
By the way, brand is up to $39,921.
Oh wow! Okay,
you guys. You ready for the announcement?
Okay, well, I'm definitely
almost there.
Okay.
Somebody in the chat wants me to read this as Mickey Mouse. Let's not turn Dramagate into no. Comicsgate into Dramagate. No, I'm not going to read the whole thing that way. Especially not with my voice like this. With coordinated attacks coming from all sides, it's more critical than ever that Comicsgate members keep their eye on the prize and don't turn into #drama queens who favor sniping and infighting over solidarity. Sadly, for those supporting this consumer revolt in the name of good comic books and for the high-profile figures within it, recent history may not be on our side. Might not be on our side, guys. On September 3rd, that was my birthday.
I celebrated your birthday, yes.
Yeah, this is how we celebrated my birthday. Alt hero publisher Vox Day announced his prospective Comicsgate imprint right here on Bounding Into Comics. And it would be an insult to diarrhea to say that the Comicsgate community understandably lost their crap in response. Well, you put the word understandably in there, and then, it loses its whole, Anyway, whether Vox Day was trying to do something he deemed to be positive for the movement, or he was just trying to co-opt it a la Sad Puppies, or both, is mostly irrelevant. The fallout from his move was quite real, particularly when it came to author and occasional Bounding Into Comics contributor John Delarose. By the way, John doesn't like it when I mention his name. Sorry, John, I'm reading this article. Over the course of 24 hours, Delarose, whose sci-fi and comic book work are both published by Day's imprints, was not only taken to task for his friendship with Day, but he would see some of his socio-political positions erroneously conflated with Day's. Erroneously. When the accused makes it crystal clear that they disagree with someone else's specific politics, and yet they're still being taken to the woodshed for them, it's pretty clear. It's a pretty clear case of a reactionary outrage. In this case, not only was Delarose guilty by association, but it appears his accuser admitted to lying after the fact. Yeah, I'm not sure about the guilty by association thing. I seem to, I don't know. I have argument about that, but okay. To add to the drama, there's now this apparent parody. You want to see this? What this is? Better not be porn. Yeah, Cyberfrog here. Fake Cyberfrog, which is startling. It is startling.
Is that the dude with the
someone sent me that? I saw
the shorts and the headphones or something like that.
Well, we're at 40K. We're at $40,000. Hold on a second. Let me refresh this.
Oh man,
magnificent! 40,000 even. Congratulations, guys.
Okay,
awesome.
All right. So let me. Okay, if I want to. Okay, I'm gonna do some screen sharing. Let me.
You can't because it doesn't work. Remember?
Yeah, I want to see.
Okay, because I was gonna show some of this person's art. Okay, so.
Do you want to save it until it's your show, or do you want to?
No, I made a promise, and the guys delivered. So let me at least they can Google this person's name. The artist that is doing the Dawn Craven variant cover is a gentleman. He's out of San Antonio, Texas, by the name of Manasseh Johnson. He has been published in the Source magazine. He has done tons and tons of caricatures. He's got over 50,000 people following him on Instagram. He just did a piece for Kevin Hart that Kevin Hart put on his Instagram, and it went viral. I'm talking millions and millions of people, where he drew all of Kevin Hart's inspirations, like Jerry Seinfeld, George Carlin. This guy is an amazing talent, and he was so kind and generous to agree to do this for us. Kanan's gonna do like the layout for the cover, and I'm gonna send it, and it's gonna be Manasseh is a genius, and he is my god. Yes, that is him, Green Man. Johnson, that guy is incredible. He's on Twitter, he's on Instagram, and he is my god. This is just it's amazing. So I just
that's great. That's terrific. Congratulations.
Yeah. I'm very, like I said, he's been published in Source magazine. I'm a big fan of his. He's done all kind of. He did this one picture that was hilarious, where it's got President Obama like sitting on the toilet reading the newspaper, that just cracked me up, and I was just like, I was like, I got to get this guy.
Could you say the guy's name again?
Manasseh Johnson.
How do you spell Manasseh?
It is. Let me make sure. MANASSEH, and then JOHNSON.
Okay, so guys can check that out. Look that up. People are putting it in the chat now. Look that guy up and see if you like his work. He is going to be doing a cover for Brand. And thank you so much for your support. $40,000.
Yeah.
Much appreciated, everybody. I mean, like I said, man, we are going to give you all that back, and just in general the best. I mean, it's in any time, if you've seen any of the art that I've posted on Twitter and some of the stuff I've done live, it's probably going to be some of our best stuff. So definitely, you would not regret it. I appreciate it.
All right, let's finish this article up and see what the problem is here. To add to the drama, there's now this apparent parody, which, according to Van Sciver, Delarose brought to his attention after all this unfolded. Yeah, he did. He sent me a note like on Twitter, and he's just like, "Hey, do you know about this?" And it was brand new. It had just been posted, and it's like fake ass Cyberfrog. He goes, "Yeah, maybe I was like, "Yeah, that's Vox Day fucking with me." He's like, "That's not Vox Day. It's this guy." I'm like, "No, it's Vox Day. It's Vox Day using one of his friends to fuck with me." And he said he was going to do this. Vox Day thinks he's playing 4D chess and he's playing like 2D Candyland. I got it. It's hilarious that you can mess with my character, change a few names. You can put something up on Amazon and confuse anybody who might actually be trying to buy a copy of Cyberfrog, but doesn't know that Cyberfrog begins with a C. Instead, they put in PS. Nobody's going to be fooled by it. Beautiful. And John pretending that like he wasn't sent here by Vox Day to show this to me was weird and sad. He said, "While we may never know the truth, the timing certainly makes it seem as if Cyberfrog might be some sort of juvenile retribution." Yeah, of course it was. Guilt by association, juvenile stunts. Sounds a little SJW, doesn't it? That's because these are the brushes that crowds love to paint with, and this is the same crowd who is smiling with glee seeing Comicsgate infighting because they equate it with weakness. What is this? Who cares? With someone like Vox Day, it's easy to understand his reaction. He has a history of blah, 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 blah. Where's Roe? Where's the Roe stuff?
I didn't hear anything from him.
I don't. Oh, because they said Roe lied up here. Well, he did. We already talked about that. He already apologized.
Didn't he?
Yeah. I don't see his name here. Roe did lie. He did apologize for it.
And I saw that. He apologized.
I don't know what you guys. I wouldn't call this a hit piece at all. I'm sorry to disagree with you, Sketch. In the chat, I don't call this a hit piece. This is just somebody saying, "Hey, stop with the infighting. Everyone get along." And my feeling is, I can get along with most people. There's some people who I'm not going to get along with, and I don't need to get along with everybody. The thing about Comicsgate is really, I know it looks like a team. It isn't a team. It's just kind of a cause. People aren't excluded from Comicsgate at all. Vox Day can sit there and say that he's Comicsgate, as long as he were to actually follow the belief system, the pattern, that he doesn't. Vox Day doesn't agree with the belief system, so he's not Comicsgate. But if he did, he could be Comicsgate. John Delarose is welcome to call himself Comicsgate. We're not. It's not. We're like, there's some of us that are friends and we feel like family, but for the most part, anyone, just somebody I've never heard of, could say they're Comicsgate, and as long as they agree with us, they are Comicsgate. So that is fine. There's no infighting really that could ever really hurt Comicsgate. It's irrelevant to the fans. It's irrelevant to the cause, and this is a silly article.
That's kind of what sets it apart, is the fact that when there are issues, I know I've said it before and people have said it too, we squash it, we address it, man, and the accountability, man, like even like how you would check, okay, guys, you can't say certain things, you watch what you say, or saying like this, or not that you're trying to censor people, but it's just like, use wisdom, because people are watching, and just keeping everybody accountable, man, and because you understand that it is, a brand in a way, that it represent, if you say you're Comicsgate, man, and you just start talking crazy, man, there's blowback that can happen as a result of that, and it just adds to the fuel of those that don't agree. So it's like,
yeah, I think we just need to make sure that like our principles are clear, like what Comicsgate kind of believes and what its purpose is, so that people who are clearly not Comicsgate, people will recognize that they're kind of not really Comicsgate. But
right,
again, there's no gatekeeping.
Exactly.
You can be a part of this if you want to. It's nothing's personal. You just have to kind of be Comicsgate in your heart.
Be open, man.
That's what these guys are. That's Antonio and Kanan are Comicsgate. That is why their comic brand is sitting at, it's a $40,000. I mean, that is it's a $40,051. That is an amazing success. An amazing success. Yeah. I'm looking at the chat now. John said he started. Well, everyone says they started Comicsgate, by the way. That's the other thing. I don't know who started Comicsgate. I don't know who officially said. It all seems blurry to me. When looking back, I remember hearing Comicsgate, but more hearing it from SJWs who would say, you guys are how wrong I was. But I don't remember who actually created it. Somebody said Nerd Wonder created Comicsgate, not the name Comicsgate, or started calling it that.
She, from what I understand, and this can be verified, she was the first one to hashtag it. Bitch, but I was the one that said to hashtag it.
Yeah. The hashtag is, putting the hashtag down there is an important thing. I mean,
she was the first person to actually hashtag Comicsgate, and that could be pretty much verified on like Twitter and stuff. But that doesn't, people were saying the word Comicsgate before she hashtagged it, but she was apparently the first person to actually hashtag it.
Comicsgate really came about for three instances that happened, I think, in 2016. And one of them is, ask me about my feminist agenda, Chelsea Kane. That was a big one. Another one was Frank Cho getting fired. Well, he quit, I know, off of his Wonder Woman cover gig by Greg Rucka. And the other one, of course, the big one is Milo Manera's Spider-Woman cover. And those three things all happened in the same year and just pointed towards comics going in a weird direction. It was clear that there were, political ideologues who were steering and gatekeeping comics and comics pros from there. And it blew up. I mean, the milkshake incident was like, what would you call that? That was just, the Gulf of Tonkin incident. It was just like, that was the thing where we all realized, we're kind of at war. But the milkshake incident gets blown up to be a lot more than what it was, mostly because I think it was a it still feels like a stunt to me. It doesn't feel genuine. I still don't quite understand it.
What in a nutshell, I guess, the overview, what was it? I mean, honestly, I don't know about all this history, so
you know, after the Chelsea Kane feminist agenda shirt thing, after, you know, all of this comics, there was something boiling under the surface where people were starting to notice weird things that were going on in comics. People were starting to notice, you know, of course, there was all the gender and race swaps of characters that were annoying people. Frankly, it was just annoying to people. And comics were becoming, the quality of these stories was kind of going down the drain. There was just a great moment where, you know, and this was happening more and more. I actually have one example of this that I saved, but the spelling, there were typos in Spider-Man. And in all these Marvel comics, it was really weird, like big, nasty, stupid typos. And when you know what, when you're reading a Spider-Man comic book, a Marvel comic, and there are typos in it, you know, it feels weird. Like it feels irresponsible. It feels bad. And so people started to talk amongst themselves and say things like, hey, how come if you look at all these comic books, all of the editors are male, but it seems like all of the assistant editors are female. Like there are no big female full-fledged editors, but there are tons of these little female editors or assistant editors. And by the way, these names that we're seeing in the assistant editors column, they're saying some pretty wacky stuff on Twitter. They're calling people names. They're talking. They're, you know, openly denigrating Republicans and Trump supporters and Donald Trump himself, like openly on Twitter. That's kind of weird. So when the milkshake incident happened, it was basically a photograph that appeared on Twitter. All of the assistant editors, these young girls, go out and they get milkshakes together as a tribute to Flo, something or other. It was an inside office kind of thing, a celebration thing. They posted this photograph to Twitter, and everybody basically caught a glimpse of the faces behind the names. So what you have is you have comic books with spelling errors, okay, and bad stories, assistant edited by these, you know, by people like Heather Antos and Alana Smith, these names that people were getting used to, and then these same people are insulting you on Twitter if you're a Republican, and then boom, here's what they all look like. They're all young women, and they're pretty. They're all pretty. So suddenly you're like, what's going on at Marvel Comics? What exactly is going on at Marvel Comics? That, like, they're hiring these young girls that are insulting the fan base, that aren't even good at doing their jobs. What, you know, and they're, you know, why are they being hired? And then seeing their faces and seeing that they're all lovely young girls was infuriating for fans. It seemed like the, not to put too fine a point on it, seemed like the big fat male editors were hiring pretty young work girlfriends. That's the impression that people had. And people started to say things like, I think Diversity in Comics called them fake geek girls. Yeah, it kind of blew up from there. That was the milkshake incident.
Gotcha.
Yeah, fake geek girls.
Let me ask you, like, what made you come to, I guess, get connected with it?
Comicsgate was something that I was starting to notice. I was starting to notice my fellow professionals and myself treating fans poorly. I fell under some scrutiny when I got into an argument with a bunch of quote unquote fans who weren't really fans. They were just these kind of like far left wingers who would follow me around Facebook and kind of insult me. And I was in this kind of 2-day jag, like this awful argument with a bunch of left wingers. And one of them said, you know what, F you to me. And I can't remember what it was about, but it was like, F you. And I said to him, go kill yourself, loser. Now, me saying go kill yourself to somebody, this guy came out and said, look, I've been suicidal my whole life. How could you be so cruel? I don't, you know. Okay. So that was like a bad moment for me where I was like, oh my gosh, like this guy, I know this was kind of set up to be a stunt. I know these guys are, you know, kind of ideological weirdos, but it's like, I can't talk to people like that. And if I get myself to a point where I'm so angry talking with the fans over politics that I would actually say something that if my mom knew I said it, I'd be sad about, I'd be upset about. I can't be that person. So I started to decide to change my ways. And I discovered Diversity in Comics, who was putting out these videos that were critical of the way comics pros were talking to fans. And listening to his videos made me rethink what my role was in terms of, hey, people are listening to me on social media, not because of my amazingly funny tweets about Donald Trump, but because they like Green Lantern. And by me sitting there utilizing my social media to abuse the fans about politics, I'm misusing them. I'm treating my fans poorly, even those who agree with me. I should be talking about Green Lantern and thanking them for their business, and that's kind of what my role is. So I started to listen, and I also started to notice that politics were creeping into these comics more and more. As an insider, I can attest to it. I can attest to that fact. There is a little club. There is a little club of left wingers. If you are a Republican, you are going to get isolated. Now, I was proud of the fact that I was listening to diversity in comics. Proud of it. I said, yeah, I think he's a really important voice in comics right now, and I think everybody should be listening to him.
Right.
I started to get threats from comic pros, who would say things like, "We don't see this as good for your career, Ethan. Maybe you should walk away from this. Maybe you should walk away from this fandom of this guy. Maybe you should stop listening. Maybe you should stop supporting him. This is not going to do you good." Now I'd say, F you, it's like, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm not going to walk away. I'm not going to be pushed around or threatened by people in comics,
right.
by weirdos who look like George Costanza. I'm sorry. I'm Jersey. You're not doing that to me.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, anyway, I started to see around me. I just started to see that the comic book industry was badly fractured and in trouble. And that a lot of what was being said by YouTube critics was absolutely true. And comics were going kind of downhill. Also, some of my friends who were right-wingers were having increasingly more and more trouble getting work in comics themselves. And my work was being harassed by people who had decided to start calling me a Nazi for voting for Trump.
Right.
Comicsgate is inevitable under these circumstances. My being involved with Comicsgate is inevitable. I have to. I'm a big voice in comics. I've always been. And, in an industry where people are kind of afraid to be true to themselves, because one thing that Zach says that I think is interesting and very, very true and doesn't get discussed enough is that comic book pros are terrified of each other. Absolutely terrified of each other. How weird is that? Yeah, I'm afraid.
Why? Well, I guess
because of what I went through. Because of, hey, we don't think that this is a good idea for you to,
I guess it's so weird, man. Because I'm like I said, I've done professional stuff, but mostly in the indie. So I don't know a lot of the, good old boy kind of that whole, vibe, man. And a lot of this is like, even just kind of hearing you explain it still baffles me, like how people assume it's this hate thing. Like you just explained to me your why. And it's just kind of like how does that turn into an anti or hate? Or I mean, granted, you got extremists all over the place. I mean, anytime you have people involved with anything, you have people that take stuff and run with it and go nuts with it. But it's like, man, like that doesn't even sound anything remotely to the stuff it's being accused of. And it blows my mind. I'm just like, if people would actually investigate and like talk to me kind of thing, like if you want to know what it's about, ask me. Don't listen to the tweets and the, and people are really forming opinions from the outside in. It's like, dude, talk to the people. I don't know.
Yeah, well, they're not interested in that. I mean, this is the thing, it all sounds crazy, but it's like I've lived through this and I see it now. And I've had, I didn't believe in culture war until I actually had these people explain to me I always tell this story and it's still amazing to me. When Aubrey Sitterson, was in trouble for his comments on 9/11. Aubrey Sitterson was the writer of G.I. Joe. He's an avowed socialist. Okay. He actually came out on 9/11 and said, you know what? Like, if you weren't here, in essence, he said, if you weren't in New York City when those planes hit, like I was, you have no business pretending to mourn 9/11. You weren't here. This is fake grief to get you attention. Now, those comments got him a lot of negative attention. The next day, a normal person would have said, I apologize if my comments were taken the wrong way. Right. He doubled down. He said, you know what? Fuck you. I was here. I saw that, blah, 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 blah. So eventually he lost his job on G.I. Joe. But it took a long time to get him to lose his job from G.I. Joe. He did not belong on that book. Somebody who expresses those thoughts, he belongs in comics. Sure, he can write comics. He should not be writing G.I. Joe. Now, the left fought like wildcats to keep him on G.I. Joe. Why? Yeah. And I talked to Jude Terror, who is a writer for Bleeding Cool, and we're friends. You know, I'm friendly with Jude Terror. I talked to him in private. I said, why is it so important for you guys, meaning the far left in comics? Right. Why is it so important to you that Aubrey Sitterson keep, you know in your heart he needs to lose his job for this. Why is it so important that he keep his job on G.I. Joe? And Jude Terror said, because of the culture war, man. He's like, we have a socialist writing G.I. Joe. He actually said this to me. We have a socialist writing G.I. Joe. That's an important milestone. That's about control in comics. He's controlling the culture. G.I. Joe's a real American hero, except when Aubrey Sitterson is writing it. Do you understand? I mean, astonishing to me. And I went, wow, there are people, they actually think about this. Like, this isn't, they actually think about this stuff. Like, they go, well, you know, what represents Americanism and how can we subvert it somehow? Well, we can put a socialist weirdo writing G.I. Joe. He's going to ruin it and everything that it stands for. How can we undo the toxic masculinity of books or comics or properties like the Thundercats? Well, we've seen how they're going to do that. Yeah, we make it silly. We make being a man seem silly. We put weirdos in charge of the properties that little boys are supposed to be raised on, and say this is what being a man is supposed to be. You know, you invest your little boys with these ideas of what being a man is, being masculine, being tough, all these male power fantasies. These are important. These are important things for little boys to have. And, you know, these SJWs want to subvert those. They want to change those. They have different cultural ideas about how people should be. It's creepy, it's weird, and it's all true. So I've seen this stuff firsthand. I know it's real. I watched it happen to me. I watched my friends keep their mouths closed as a campaign of, you know, a really ugly disinformation campaign surfaced about me being an actual Nazi. Based on
they actually meant I posted something on Facebook, and I said not going into detail as far as like art and everything, and so they were like, this individual was like, you're doing stuff for him, talking about you. He's like, you know that he's like, you know, as a black man, it's like you're doing stuff with a known blah blah blah, and I was like, dude, I was like, I just told him I haven't experienced any of what you're talking about. I don't know, you know, all the stuff that, you know, it's been nothing but respect and honor. You know, yeah, we have differences and stuff. Everybody does. I was like, but they've respected me. You know, I was like, if I ever experience anything like that, I'm bouncing, but I haven't, and I don't think I am. You know, I was like, so, dude, you know, I was like, I appreciate it, I understand. So he's like, dude, you need to do your research. And he's like, teach your own, bro. He's like, but he's like, yo, I think you need to. And I was just like, man, like, dude, like.
See, that stuff spreads, and it's toxic. I learned something, by the way. The other thing that they do, that SJWs do, is they float something. This is where I made so many mistakes early on. They plan this. What they do is they float a lie, and they hope that you'll deny it, because they don't have big megaphones. You know, they don't have big megaphones. They have little voices. They don't really have big followings on Twitter or anything like that. So if they come out and say, hey, you're a Nazi, and then I come out and say, I am not a Nazi. Now, I just said that I'm not a Nazi to 80,000 people.
Prove you're not a Nazi.
Then people are suddenly going, Nazi? all they see is your name and the word Nazi. That spreads like wildfire. It doesn't matter that you denied it. Now they're going, why would he say that? What maybe he is. Like, I didn't kill my wife. What would you didn't kill your wife? What?
That's all they see is to kill your wife, right?
That's correct. And then they start. So that's a great trick. I didn't understand it. So now, like, these accusations come out, I see them for what they are, and I just kind of keep them quiet. But yeah, you don't spread that. It's called the Streisand effect. They're great. These people are nasty, awful people. I make no mistake, they're evil. You know, SJWs are evil, and it's like I hate to use that word like that because it's like I almost don't even believe in good and evil. I think they're just levels of gray, but no, they're evil. That is spreading that kind of a lie about someone. Now you've got to deal with it. Hey, Ethan's a white supremacist. As a black man, why are you working with him?
Yep. No, Antonio got that too.
Yeah, I got a bunch of I'm a coon, I'm a Uncle Tom, I sold out my people, all this nonsense.
Dude, but you know, on a serious note, man, like to me, man, that's like the worst of the worst, man, to like call somebody that. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like it's like I'm here trying to, you know, spread creativity and good.
Yeah, come on down.
And you come at me and you say stuff like that. It's like, dude, that's wrong. Like, really?
Yeah, it is. It's like, yeah, it is. I can't even put it into words. I dealt with it for a year. I dealt with that being my new reality. You have to understand another thing. It's like, you know, when that stuff first started to happen, I mean, it really felt like assault. Like every single day, like these people are trying to convince the world that I am Hitler. You know, that's what they're trying to convince the world of. And their lie is going to spread a lot quicker than my truth. I mean, that's just the way these things work because it's more fun to believe that. So that is literal assault. I mean, so for a year, I had to get used to this idea that there are going to be some people who believe I'm a white supremacist. How is that? How wonderful is that? That's a new addition to my life. Thank you so much, comic book industry.
Now,
thank you for that. That's a high price to pay. I mean, think about that. It's a pretty high price to pay for the privilege of getting to draw fucking comic books. Now I get to be slimed and smeared with this notion that I'm a white supremacist.
Yeah.
Now I did hear you were a frog supremacist.
Punishment. I mean, my God, I mean, it's just you think about that and you just go, that's what you get. Like that's now just for drawing comics, like that's the end result. That is why Comicsgate exists, because of things like that.
It's almost the you know, anytime you feel any type of like, you know, an oppressive nature. I mean, that's, you know, with our American history, and we know the things that happen with the civil rights and stuff. You know, anytime you feel oppressed, there's going to be a revolution. I mean, this country was like established on that very principle. You know, so it's like, you know, no, people may not agree with what, you know, Comicsgate is, but you created it. You helped form it by the, you know, the ideals and the constant abuse, man. Honestly, man, it's like I haven't seen any other abuse from anybody else except from the other, you know, the other side. Like it's like relentless, back to back. And they talk about, you know, they just spread hate and, you know, they're racist. I was like, dude, the people I'm connected with, dude, they've been nothing but cordial. The only time they snap back, man, and clap back is when you get tired of getting hit in the face after a while. You know, and granted, man, we, you know, Comicsgate has people that are fighters. You know, and that's just their nature. You know, John Malin, he's one of them, man. You know, he's like, man, he's you know, yourself, you know, included. It's like, you know, there's people that are fighters, and they're just not gonna exactly handle it in a, you know, a like peaceful protest kind of thing. It's like, okay, you smack me, I'm gonna smack you in the mouth. You know, so it's like it's a reaction to a reaction to an action, and I don't think they see that. Like, you keep poking the bear, he's gonna bite you. Now, is the bear wrong? No. you just keep poking him. It's like, dude, like, leave me alone. Like, I had a situation with my daughter, and some kid in high school, man, like, was just like messing with her, and she tried to walk away, and the girl followed her. It's like, dude, like, if she hit you in the face, you asked for it, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's crazy, man. Like,
That's where we're at right now. I mean, you can't walk away from it. You know, you can't. Comicsgate is the act of walking away.
Yeah.
Comicsgate is saying, like, I acknowledge that this is the industry now. This industry is poisonous. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I'm still going to do comics, though, because that's just what I do. So let's go over here. Let's form Comicsgate. You know, Richard C. Meyer and I discussed this and talked about, you know, hey, let's campaign to launch our own comic books. And we, you know, this was our whole thing. This was the next step for Comicsgate, is publishing our own books. Extremely successful, of course, and then others followed, and they've been extremely successful too. Now, really, they say, you know, if the whole point of you know, SJWs and comics in the mainstream is to get rid of us, we've gotten rid of ourselves. We've already walked away. Why are you chasing us?
See, it's the following thing. Yeah.
Why are you hounding us? At this point, like, that's how you know who the good guys are and who the bad guys are, because we've already left. You've said leave, we've left, we're doing our own thing, and you're following us and hounding us still. That right there, that should lay the case out flat. Like, who are the good guys in this? Who are the bad guys in this?
Yeah.
All right, let me read some of these super chats. You know, before I get angry. I think about it, and it's just like, it's infuriating. I can't stand. They're the worst people, absolutely the worst. Like, the idea that, like, they're now for the rest of my life, and they love this. This makes them so happy. For the rest of my life, I'm gonna have a certain percentage of people in comics who think I'm a white supremacist, and that's my punishment for voting for Trump. Ha ha ha. Well, you voted for Trump and you won, and now this is what we've done to you. That's your punishment.
Well, what about the people that, you know, didn't, and they're still in Comicsgate and they still get ostracized? Like so. Well, I didn't even do like what you claim I did, and then you still see me as that. It's like, so, you know, you want your cake and eat it too, kind of thing. It's like, dude, what do you want from me?
Yeah, it's the idea of just our independence. No, I've said this over and over again. Like, I don't, there's nothing. And this is the thing that I said that I think pissed them off. I said, you want what we have, and you're envious of us, and you have nothing we want. So, I mean, like, that's the reason, you know, that is why you're chasing us. It's like, hey, you're supposed to want no, we don't want what you have. We don't want your respect. We don't need your support. You know, it's like, we don't need to bow and scrape before you to get work. Clearly, we're doing better than you are on our own terms. And so there's nothing that you have that we want. So we don't need to negotiate or bargain with you for anything.
But you know, it's funny.
And that drives them nuts.
I know you guys get to the super chats, but I just want to say, I know it's funny that the very thing that we're doing, and I really believe that's one of the reasons why a lot of the professionals who I follow and I love, you know, love their artwork, but I really believe that's why a lot of them have jumped on social media to try to say that, you know, we too interact with our fans, because they see what's happening with us, you know, that we actually generally interact. I mean, you think about how many people would be able to, you know, talk to Ethan Van Sciver except at a convention, but now you get to talk to him every day, you know, via chat or, you know, something like that. And so it's broken the fourth wall as far as like
the future.
Yeah. And
this
I
is
think
the future of comics.
They're trying to do the same, but I think, like you said, the damage in some respects has already been done. So it just comes out forced. Like, you're just doing this as a, you know, you're not even genuine about it, but yeah. Anyway.
All right, let me see what we got here. Wow, where did I leave off? Jesus A. Sabalas Jr. The live streams are priceless to me. I listen to them, especially when I'm at work. Please put back up the 5-hour video. Smug Doug was comedy platinum. Retcon 81, sending some back love for. Okay, we read that one. Jesus A. Sabalas Jr. too. Also, good morning, Ethan, Antonio, and Kanan. You got to make the 6 figures bitch shirt and split the profit between you two. 6 figures, hashtag 6 figures bitch on a shirt. Stephen 4X, thanks for £5. Kanan, please do a time lapse or even a full vid of you hand drawing for the $500 perk original artwork. Also, draw me a dawn on mine.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I can do that.
Broken Oak, thanks for £4.99. Press F for Smiling Patriot James Woods. Hashtag No Men Midterms and Back Brand, a comic about a super nice smiling Santa Claus. Hashtag Make Heroes Smile Again. That's funny. Yeah, his smile is not nice. Mellow Soul, if you would come to Australia, would you eat a meat pie? Yes. I love the philosophy of this movement, whatever it's called. It's called Comicsgate, and thank you. Yeah, I would love to come to Australia and eat a meat pie. Jesus A. Sabalas Jr., $5. Thank you. Anyone mentioned on Comicsgate Live gets targeted for harassment, pressured to denounce it. Cooks and Kevin, Joe, Snyder. Yeah, isn't that interesting? They're listening all the time, and they're just like, hey, Darwin Cooks and Kavich, Cho, and Snyder. Did I ever mention Scott Snyder? I must have. Matt Hayes 2000, Milkshake Crew are fake geek girls. Can anyone find a statement where they talk about a classic Marvel or DC story, comic, or character they love? Jesus A. Sabalas Jr., I hope they don't target Greg Capullo. Now Dean Cain is being targeted. They're calling him a homophobe. Calling Superman a homophobe. What the yeah. Nerzen Jager, thank you for €5. How often do you redraw aspects of a good comic page? Do you ever become so good that you make excellent first tries? Every time. I very rarely have to redraw anything because it's just, Kanan will tell you, it really is such a process of like jigsaw puzzle. It doesn't all happen at once. It's a slow process. So
it's the planning. If you do the planning right, then the execution of it, man, you have less errors.
That is correct. Dr. Wright, they don't want reason. They want capitulation. They want you, their supposed enemy, to be forced to send their message despite your reluctance. Yeah. Jesus A. Sabalas Jr., Brand, hashtag more profitable than Disney Star Wars. That is correct as well. Brand, big success story right now. Thank you all for the support. They're at $40,120 right now. That's great, guys.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, very much.
Matt Horkin just says, still doing video games on the channel with the PC? No plans. I talked to Andrea about it yesterday. I was like, I'm going to go out and get, or maybe I'll bring the PlayStation 4 down. I don't know. And she's like, why? I was like, play video games? Everyone talks about video games. I don't participate. She's like, you want to play video games? And I thought about it and went, no.
Not really.
I had to think about it. I couldn't. I'm just not a gamer. I really like Dead Rising, and I will play it for 1 week solid between Christmas and New Year's. But when I see other people playing new games, I'm never like, damn, I want to play that. That doesn't even occur to me. I just go, that's,
I always enjoyed watching rather than playing. I mean, it just, my brother, he was a gamer. He still is a gamer. He has like every system. But, I was kind of like, oh, that's to me, it's like watching a movie. I think that's why like I'll do walkthroughs rather than actually playing them. Help people record.
Yeah, you know what? I liked playing Call of Duty.
Yeah, that was fun.
2 and 3. I like that stuff. That was fun. I'm not. I was playing video games around 2003, 2004. That's about it. I kind of walked away from video games because they're extremely time consuming, and I don't know what you get out of them. I don't know what they're for, and it makes me sad in a way because Telltale Games just closed down. I watched my son play Telltale Games Walking Dead, and it looked pretty good. He was always trying to get me to play it, but my son will tell you one of the most frustrating things about our relationship was him trying to get me to play video games and me saying I'm not interested, and him looking at me as a comic book artist and not understanding why I was not interested. Like that was always.
But you make comics, Dad.
He's like, this is right up your alley. Look, this is about this, and you look, Dad. No, just I know it looks like fun. I just don't want to
do it.
Yeah. It's just not for me. I don't know. That's the you want to talk about being a boomer or an old man. That is the old man. Now I will play Pac-Man.
Right, a classic Galaga.
Yeah, the games that I was introduced to when I was 8 years old. Yeah, like I still love those games, but
that's funny.
they only take a few minutes to play. Like you could play Pac-Man. I could rock a Pac-Man arcade for like half an hour, like on one quarter. But we did that one time. Me and my son went out. Yeah, you could play Pac-Man. It's over when isn't like Call of Duty like that. You're gonna settle in for the day,
right? And you got downloadable content too, so they're always expanding stuff.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I don't know if I'm really into it. I don't know if I ever will be, but it would be nice to know about it because I would like to be able to talk about why Telltale Games went out of business, but I honestly don't know. And I thought about doing a video about it because it seemed like important news, and then I realized I would just sound like a dummy because I don't know. Yeah. I don't know anything about it. I know a lot about movies. I know a lot about comics. I know a lot about comic book art. I don't know anything about video games, and it seems like everyone else does. So I would sound like a dummy. Yeah, EVS only plays the games that they had in the roller rink when he was young. Sly Marbo, you couldn't be more correct.
The true arcade.
Yeah.
Dig Dug.
Yep.
Dig Dug is great, man. I love Dig Dug.
I love Dig Dug.
I had remember when they were putting out those plug-in games like 10 years ago? They had a Dig Dug that you could plug right into your TV, and it was the arcade version.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's addictive.
I love retro gaming, though. I've got a MAME emulator on my PC. It's got like over 600 something games on it and stuff. So I can do old Miss Pac-Man, Final Fight, Street Fighter 2.
Yes.
It's like, dude, the old Mortal Kombat. Yeah, all that. Like, yeah, I love that stuff, man. I like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Simpsons.
Dude, that was probably one of the best Teenage Mutant, the one where you had the 4 screens.
Yeah, you play 4 people at the same time.
Stack your quarters up and just go in, man, for like hours.
Double Dragon. What about Double Dragon?
The original.
Yeah, the original Double Dragon. Oh man, there was so much fun stuff on there, and
they had arcades in the 80s. Like right across the street from the mall, they'd open up a big building that was just an arcade. Did they still have those?
No,
most
have to go to the beach.
Here have shut down, but then you have to go to a place like, say, a Dave and Buster's.
Dave and Buster's. Yeah. You're right.
But if they didn't have all I'd have to, because I always was like, maybe if I get enough money, I could open up like an arcade. But I'd have to have like food and something else because you're not going to sustain yourself just doing like quarter machines and stuff.
Yeah,
to be able to do that.
Flynn's, no.
There was always somebody walking around with like a quarter belt. That's what I miss.
Yeah.
Like you go, do I have change for my dollar? And they'd be like, ding, 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 ding.
Yep.
Here you go. Quarter belt. I'm the quarter belt guy. Yeah. Those were the days, man. The 80s were fun.
They were. Very creative.
You know what's funny is like most of the people we talked to were born in the 90s.
Right.
And like I'm like the 80s might be a little bit fuzzy to me at the beginning of the 80s because I was born in 1974. The 70s I only have a few odds and ends like memories of the 70s. But I remember the 80s mostly vividly. The 90s I remember like the back of my hand. And it's like to say that you were born in 1991. I mean, I was like I was fully conscious and doing stuff in 1991.
Yeah.
I mean, that is odd. People are telling me born in 83, 84. No, there are people that are older than me here. 73, 79, 77.
It's really crazy. You like a kid that's like
75.
They're like 18. Like, yeah, man, I was born in 2001. Back in the day. I'm like, back in the day, dude.
2001.
Right.
Like they were born when like Britney Spears' "Hit Me Baby" was on the radio. It's like, it seems like yesterday. What do you mean?
No, I'm the guy that was actually born on 9/11/2001, and I was like, man, you've got crappy birthdays every year because it's like Debbie Downer on your birthday every year. And
yeah.
Oh man.
That must have been sad. Like, what's like if your birthday's on 9/11, your second birthday cake must have been kind of awkward with just 2 flaming candles on your cake. That would have been sad. People would have was that low.
Oh,
wow.
You went there. Yeah, that would be sad. When it was still fresh in everyone's mind. Yeah,
it was. Man.
Well, I was born right after Nixon was impeached, though. Not impeached, he quit. But I mean, I was born right after that. Like Nixon left office August of 74, and I was born shortly thereafter. I feel like the soul of Nixon's presidency left and came into my body. Like I would be the soul.
Watergate.
Yeah, like absolutely. That's why I'm Comicsgate. Like I always wondered that. I was like, did the Nixon presidency jump from that moment and into my mom's womb somehow and just develop in me?
Well, you're not as belligerent as he was.
No, I don't think I am. But I would, I listened to those tapes of him, and he's just like, you ever watch that Archie Bunker? What is that? All in the Family? You ever hear him talk about All in the Family? He's like, they have it, normal He calls Archie Bunker a good American man. He's a filthy hippie scumbags all around him. These disgusting long hairs. Nixon cracking on All in the Family is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. Tonka saw $2. Thank you. Will there ever be a physical Comicsgate store?
Interesting.
Yeah, these are all things. I mean, the problem with it is that, we're all kind of diverse, separate entities. We're all separate businesses. Like, Antonio and Kanan are their own business. So, and Cyberfrog is his own business right now. And eventually, I think we're all going to we're going to interrelate in some ways. Like I'm going to start
crossovers and all that.
Yeah. All Caps Comics is going to be my publishing house. And I'm going to hire a few people, Comicsgaters, to come work on my own properties. But I'm not sure if there could ever be a Comicsgate store that everyone's comics are sold in. Because who would house them? You know what I mean? You'd be ordering from... You'd say, hey, I want a copy of Jawbreakers and a copy of Brand and a copy of Bigfoot Bill. And okay, so you check out, that's $60. Okay, and then 3 different people have to send you your comics, Yeah,
it's not one location. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
So I'm not sure.
Do that online. You could maybe not a physical
online store, yeah.
Online, yeah. You could do it like that.
Yeah, like you'd have to order. It'd have to be 3 separate orders. You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing. But all of this stuff, I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. The thing about Comicsgate is really we weren't even publishing last year. The idea of publishing, 1 year ago today wasn't even a thought really. It wasn't until things change and evolution happens, and it's good to just kind of keep yourself open to new ideas and to wherever the river takes you. Right. I'm a big believer in that. Like, people saying to you, what are you going to do? Like Zach likes to say, what's your 5-year plan to me? And I'm like, there's no 5-year plan. There's what I'm going to do in the near future. There's, my plan is to do 4 issues of Cyberfrog. What comes after that? I don't know. It's like, you start to see the hand of God in things, and you just go, things are going to happen in 2 years, in a year, 2 years that I can't plan for or anticipate. And it's good to just leave yourself kind of, like a tree that bends, in the wind. I mean, where are we going to go? We'll see. We'll see what happens 2 years from now. 5 years from now, I have no idea. Ideally, in 5 years, I'd like a Cyberfrog video game. But that might, that might not happen. It might not. And I'm just going to kind of go with the flow. It might just be that Rainbow Brute is awesome. It might just be that this project that me and Kanan are going to do together called, are you ready to find out what it's called,
Yes,
Kanan?
I am. What did you moaning for, Tony? It's like, oh.
I can't say yet.
Oh, man.
I almost spilled it. Can't say yet. It's too soon. All right. But that's the thing. Like, leave yourself open to things. You never know what's going to happen. It might be that we all decide, no, the best thing is that we all come together and form one publishing house together.
Let me just put it out there. It would be dope to be a studio. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That would be awesome. I mean, we already interact and vibe off each other anyway.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'm just saying.
Well, that'd be cool. Well, a lot of people probably feel that way, and some people don't. It's like that's
all right.
And not only that, at that point, it would officially be gatekeeping. that would be gatekeeping once that actually happened. And you know, people might not be happy about that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's almost like it's good that it stays a movement as opposed as almost like the underground music scene. You know what I mean? It's like it just is.
Yeah. I just leave it. All right, I'll tell you what the thing is, Kana.
Thank you.
Wait, hold on a second. Let me just. I'm gonna take a picture first because I can post this on Twitter, and then you will actually see some of the design.
Okay.
For this character. All right.
Drum roll, please.
Yeah, because I think I can show this if I post it on Twitter. And let's put that up. Oh, it came out wrong. This is frustrating, isn't it?
So yeah. I guess we'd see it in the private chat. I think maybe.
No. Well, will you see it? I think you will, because I'll just screen share it. Is what I'm saying. I'm going to post it on Twitter right now.
Okay.
With the title of it, I'm going to tweet it out, and let's see. All right. Yeah. All right. And I'll put a little TM there. I don't even, I can't get the TM to actually. All right.
Button where you can just put trademark, like the little.
Yeah, there. I thought there would be, but I can't figure it out on my iPad.
Oh, you probably need a keyboard.
Yeah. Okay. All right, just tweeted it out. You want to see it now?
Yes.
All right, I'm
looking. Let me see here. I'm gonna refresh my screen. Yeah, everyone's like boomer. This is just one of the sketches, one of the original sketches of it, and screen share. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Here it is, right here. Can you see it?
Oh wow. Yeah.
The book's called Fearsome.
Oh.
Okay.
This is the next project that I'll be doing. I'm gonna kind of co-write this. I don't know who should write it. It might be something I approach Chuck Dixon with. But it's a supernatural horror story about living in a small suburban neighborhood, and every time you go to sleep, you wake up as this thing here. This is your dream self, and you realize that all of your neighbors are murderous demons in the dreamscape, who have been murdering children and keeping their souls as slaves. They're enslaving the souls of children.
Now, what kind of slaves are there, Ethan? Are they like Kunta Kinte type slaves, or are they like?
No,
I think they're just soul slaves.
Okay, I was like, are they out there picking cotton?
No, they are. Well, they become little shapes. They become shadowy little shapes with built-in clues as to where their bodies are located. So this guy goes to sleep and he sees this little kind of like black shape with one tree limb arm that points down and like one, red headlight, and it beckons to him, and he takes its hand and it leads him to a spot, and he's trying to talk to this thing, and he wakes up the next morning and he's like, what is, and he's just like, he gets shivers right around the town stoplight, and it's just like
it's more of a thriller almost.
And he realizes, it's like, this is where this child is buried. Now, how does this man know where all these kids are buried? How does he know where they're all buried? Well, that's something that, it's a matter for the town police, et cetera, et cetera. But there's a much bigger scope. There's a much bigger story behind all this. Anyway, so this is one of the sketches that I did, just trying to work out the overall look of this thing. I mean, what he looks like are kind of a dream self set of nerves, bones and nerve, muscle, and just bony armor extensions of, you know, what he feels like in his sleep he needs to protect about himself. And he is a narcoleptic, so he falls asleep all the time, and then just ends up like he'll like the mailman will come and he goes out to get the mail and he falls asleep in his yard and wakes up upside down, you know, as this thing, and he sees the mailman for what the mailman really is.
Oh, geez, dude.
It is, yeah, it's gonna be pretty effed up. So this is called Fearsome. This is gonna be the second, because I don't think we're quite there yet with you know, American manga, but this will be the second project out of all caps.
Okay.
And yeah, Kanan, I would like you to draw it. Yeah,
I'd like him to draw it too.
That's nuts.
Fearsome is an ongoing story. It's going to be just like Cyberfrog. It'll be, you know, the way you guys have to understand, the way I think of comics now is, you know, it's like the Harry Potter novels.
Yeah.
I believe in, you know, I believe in just doing. Let me blow this up a little bit. I believe in just doing, you know, one thick book, putting it out there, and then, you know, you have to wait. Like here's one for Easter, and then, you know, one's coming out for Christmas. And those are two big books, and we make them a big event. You know, when they come out, it's a big deal. It's a big event, and you know, it's an ongoing story. But you don't need to read all of them. You know, you only need to read a few of them.
Gotcha.
You only need to. You can pick up one, and you know what the story is. In other words, that's what we're going for. So, yeah, Ethan Van Sciver's new comic deals about enslaving children. Absolutely, the souls of children. It's about murdering children.
Well, you know, Smurfs was actually about that.
It kind of was, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Gargamel was they took the myth and made it kid friendly, but yeah, he was the demon that was supposedly Overlord, and then Azrael was his minion, and then the Smurfs were all the children.
Yeah. Yeah, I think actually the Smurfs was about communism. Did you know? It's Smurf stands for socialist men under a red father. And if you look at them, they're all the same, and they're all doing the same thing. Wow. They're communists. They're sameness, equality, except for Papa Smurf, who's got that beard like Stalin, like Joseph Stalin, and he's got the red hat. He's the red father. And you know, the Smurfs are always saying, "Are we there yet? Are we there?" No, we're not there. It's communism. And then Gargamel represents, you know, capitalism, I guess. I don't know. What is Gargamel looks like he's the villain to communists, you know, but he's probably a hero all along. So anyway, that is the reveal.
Thanks for messing up my childhood, Ethan.
But okay. I mean, do you like the idea?
I do. I mean, it's definitely, like I'm thinking like the imagery, man, like it's more of a suspense thriller, and he's almost like a detective in a weird way. Like he's trying to figure out, you know what I mean? Like he's trying to find and help these children.
Yeah, I got to talk to, you know, I'll talk to Chuck. We're talking about Chuck Dixon today, and I think this might be a Chuck Dixon thing, and maybe I'm going to talk to Chuck Dixon about it and see what he thinks.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, we'll get Chuck Dixon writing something for all caps. Free him from the bonds of Vox Day, et cetera, et cetera. Dick's out for Dixon. That's right, guys. Dick's out for Dixon. Today, when you have your day, I want you to go out there and I want you to think about Chuck Dixon. You don't have to take your dick out for Dixon, but you know, the spirit of the day is Dick's out for Dixon. I think you guys know what I mean. Yeah, take good care of him and each other. I'm going to get to work now. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. This was a pretty good morning show. Thank you, fellas, for coming on and joining me.
Appreciate the invite, man. Always.
Yes.
Absolutely. Anytime. And everyone in the chat, I appreciate it. Oh, super chats. Let me just double check and make sure I got them all. I didn't get them all. Oh, yeah. Okay. So will you at least try out the Bigfoot Bill demo? Says Swinging Cod. Of course I will. Samuel Aragon says EVS should buy Telltale Games for Comicsgate. Yeah, that'd be nice. Matt Horkin's still doing video games on the channel with the PC. No. GK version 1.0 just got the shirt pack combo. Might get a second book. The collector in me is psyched.
Yeah, can I hop on that? Because people keep asking how do you get the variant. Okay, if you've ordered at least the twin pack, you automatically get the variant. We've got a 2-pack, a 5-pack, a 10-pack, and a 25-pack. Plus Kanan's Cold Winter's Night shirt automatically comes with the variant. And the sketch cover comes with a second copy of brand. It will be the variant. And if you ordered the original art page, which we still have I think 17 of those left. Those will come with the variant as well.
Nice. So Ian says is fearsome ongoing. So we answered that. Liam, surreal spirit of vengeance with a Stephen King vibe. DM me. I'll be free after December. Not really. It's not Stephen King. Yeah, definitely. The Pee-wee, $1.99. Good morning. Hey, good morning to you. And I want you all to have a fantastic day today. Enjoy yourselves. I'm getting to work. You guys are absolutely the best people in the world. Don't forget it. Approach your day with a song in your heart. And Antonio and Kanan, God bless you guys. Get back to work yourselves. Well, Antonio, go to sleep.
Right.
And I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Take these, Ethan.